Welcome to Leaders on the Rise. I'm Lydia Pierre, founder and CEO of Pierre Branding Group. We help create stories that resonate with audiences to forge unforgettable, unique brand experiences. These stories ultimately become infused with all aspects of the client's branding, thereby turning entrepreneurs into media celebrities by growing their authority and helping them build partnerships with top influencers. We believe that every person has a unique message that can positively impact the world. Stick around to the end of the show. We'll reveal to you how you can be our next guest in 15 to 20 minutes. Let's go. Welcome to Leaders on the Rise. I'm your host, Lydia Pierre, founder and CEO of Pierre Branding Group. You can find us on the web at pierrebrandinggroup.com. I'm here with Josh Ebrahim, CEO and founder of ProFitX AI. Josh, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lydia. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I know you're a sports agent and you're also the founder of this amazing software company. Tell us a little bit about ProFitX AI and what it does.
Yeah, so ProFitX is a AI technology that focuses in on the financial and performance insights of NBA athletes. And it's an active database of 450 plus NBA athletes. Each athlete has 20 visual and time series models that go into different dynamics of the athlete's career, contract negotiations, player potential, player development, roster dynamic, and player DNA, which was performance skill sets. So it's a really cool platform. And we also have just launched a new product called the Sports Probability Platform that focuses in on team predictive outcomes. So with the focus in just enhancing the decision-making process and providing transparency to, the public.
Awesome. Now, do they complement each other? Are they meant to coexist together, or they work separate and just complement one another?
Yeah, they definitely complement each other. So the probability platform actually harnesses in all of the individual athlete insights from the athletics.
Okay.
And harnesses it under a team performance. And so we use those individual models and metrics that we've created. We have over 120 individual performance tracking metrics. And we use all of that data to basically predict who's going to win the game. We also have AI athlete performance projections for the next 10 games. So it's a really cool platform that just really enhances the decision-making process, makes it available to the public, and use it as comparative analysis.
Wow. And being a former sports agent, apparently you saw a gap, you saw a need. So you were able to come up with this. So what kind of solution is this, and how did you see that need as a sports agent? Sure.
So when I was a sports agent, I always, there's an element called the eye test where you have to go and identify talent and be able to project if that's going to translate to the professional level. And so once you sign the clients and you secure contracts for them in the NBA, you have to continue to work. It's a 24/7 job. Mm-hmm. And I was, traveling a lot. I was trying to recruit new clients, talking to teams, doing scouting reports for your clients, and really just trying to help them along the way because, if they're successful, you're going to get the opportunity to maximize that contract for them. And so that's what I was working towards. And so when we finally got to contract negotiations, in free agency, there's a 24 to 72 hour window where contracts are signed and the money is, being spent very quickly. And so what would happen is when I would try to set comps for my players, I was setting the comps based off of the free agency contracts that were being signed.
Okay.
And so that's being dictated by the supply and demand of the market and the salary cap parameters that teams have. So it basically doesn't account for, the athlete's entire career, right? How has he been the past 5 years? Mm-hmm. Is he getting better? Does he have, does he have a projection on, is he improving? Is he declining? And if he's declining, then let's stop and recalibrate.
Okay.
And fix it and make the improvements that we need to get better and stay in the NBA. The turnover in the NBA is 1 to 3 years. So I didn't have resources when I went into negotiations to show the teams that this is what my client's worth. Mm-hmm. And I understand from the team's perspective, they have money that they have to reserve for building out their roster. So it's really about finding a middle ground. And so, we were far apart on negotiations when we initially started. And I had to use these player comps, these data reports that I created that take 4 to 5 days to create.
Oh, goodness.
And so when you have such a short window to mm-hmm. really, maximize the financial aspect of it, it's tough to, it was a big problem.
You got to move quick.
And so the other problem is that when I asked for explanations on why the valuations from the teams were so low, they wouldn't give me the data.
Oh, goodness.
And so,
like you're going in blind almost.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of dynamics that were not in my favor. Mm-hmm. If I have LeBron James as my client, hypothetically, it would be very easy, right? Most teams would be calling me. And so when you have, the 80, the top guys are always going to get, the contracts that they're worth. And then the 85% of the rest of the league, it's going to be, relying on your agent to have data that shows, what the client's range is. And so because I noticed those two gaps, I decided to leave the agency business and set out to build this product that kind of envisioned, because if they weren't going to give me the data, well, okay, I'm going to go and create the data. Wow. I think that's the next step in the career evolution.
That's awesome. And some would say that the software and the technology space that you entered is far stretched from being a sports agent. So how did you make that leap?
Yeah. So I actually after I left Rosenhaus, I worked for Drew Rosenhaus, and I left Rosenhaus in that summer. And so I decided to, first off, test the concept, right? Like there's components, the real-time contract value algorithm was the main component that I really wanted to look at and say, can this be done? Right? Like this is a very complex project. And so I have to, before I do anything, invest resources into it, file a patent, whatever it is, I need to make sure that this is possible,
right?
And that I can, visualize and try to make this vision into an actual product. So I spent probably about a month and a half just working on the algorithms, calibrating the models, and really testing and just trying to see, from a 10-year perspective, how the values kind of shaped out versus what the salary cap parameters were. And I think once I did that and played around with the models and configured them to a point where it started to kind of make sense.
Right.
I felt comfortable moving forward. So, and it's kind of funny because the original business plan that I had when I started to try to get some resources in place to make it happen, because I knew it was going to be an expensive venture.
Right.
So I put together this plan. I pitched it as a sports agency that would use this proprietary technology in-house and basically try to disrupt the sports agency industry in some capacity, right? Because if you have this software, you know, it goes straight to the negotiations, right? And you have everything to put on the table and say, right, you know, let's make a deal. And so I thought I could disrupt that side of it with the business plan. And I sent it out to my network and got 0 bites.
Really?
Nothing. Well, it was hard, you know, because you don't have a product.
Right. You're basically selling an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I actually, about a week later, my dad calls me and he's like, "Hey, your uncle wants to talk to you." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so he calls me and he's like, "Josh, your dad sent me the business plan. You know, it looks really complex. Mm-hmm. I don't know, you know, I know it's a risk, but I'm going to give you some money, and I know whatever you touch is going to turn into gold." And right. So I was like, "Look, like, I don't have a product. I don't know how this is going to go. Like, it's super risky. I don't like doing business with family." And so I just wanted to like be very sure that he was comfortable with that.
And understood the risks, of course.
Yeah, of course. I mean, and it was a pretty sizable check for having nothing, you know, other than a piece of paper. But he has 19 chemical patents. So so
he was good for it.
Yeah. And so I actually, right after he made that investment, I filed for the provisional patent to basically timestamp the idea. I had sketches that basically were to submit with the application. And so I actually got those laminated just because I thought it would be fun to keep them around.
That's awesome. It's a reminder.
So yeah, absolutely. And so I filed a patent application, and then I was getting ready to fund the development myself. And then one of my colleagues my former associates that I worked with in the past, put me in touch with the owner of an AI company.
Oh.
And so we probably talked for about 2 weeks, and I just kind of explained my vision. I'm like, "This is what I want it to be. Can you guys help me?" And like, you know, they don't know anything about basketball, but you know, and it's my idea. And so we decided to join forces. Mm-hmm. and we set out on development in September of 2019.
Wow. Right before COVID. How was that?
You know, and so I'll get into that, but just real quick, originally when we set out all the technical agreements and the plans to build out the software, our original plan was this was going to be done in 6 months.
Okay.
And so the first lesson I learned in technology is it doesn't care what you want. It's going to be ready when it's ready. And so 6 months turned into 3 years. And so, you know, even the first 6 months, we were doing all of the R&D on creating all of the athlete metrics And so that took a long time. And then we went into the UI phase where they made initial designs and I was like, nope, scrap it. And, we got into, we definitely had our ups and downs, but it was because I knew what it needed to be.
Exactly.
And it wasn't where it needed to be yet. So I guess, that's probably part of the reason why it took so long, is because I didn't want to put something out there that wasn't as impactful as I envisioned it.
Absolutely.
It would be.
Absolutely. Because it's not about just putting something out there for the sake of doing it. This is really a passion project, so to speak, in a sense. And you really believed in it. And to see that your uncle, first of all, believed in you enough to put such a sizable investment behind it. Of course, you want to make good on, you even more so want to make good on this. You want to make sure that it does what it needs to do. So how were you able to push past all of those obstacles you had to come across, from everything from not only getting the money, but once you got the money? I don't think people realize getting the money, sometimes it's just as scary as not having it, So it's like, now I have it, now I have to do it. And you're like we said, the risks that are associated with it. So talk to us about that. Because again, we have people who are listening who are either trying to become someone who's taking that next step in their business or in their career, or they're leaving one space to jump into another, and it takes faith. And that's what you did. So how did you push past that? Like, how did you take that jump?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it came from my time as an agent. I think even before I got certified by the Players Association, it was an uphill battle for me. I scratched and clawed for everything. I was emailing agents right when I got certified, because my original plan was to work for a bigger agency right when I got certified. But what I quickly learned is that if you don't have anything of value,
right,
they're not gonna talk to you.
Yeah.
So I quickly made the pivot to open up my own boutique sports agency.
Oh, wow.
And that was a great experience for me, even though it ended up, being a very short stint. I signed two really good prospects that could have had potential to play in the NBA. I think, actually, after the whole story happened, both of them fired me within like 4 months of signing them.
Oh, wow.
And so, but they were, I learned that the agent industry is competitive. And like, if I'm going to do this, I need to do it with an agency that has infrastructure and marketing power and all the bells and whistles, and then let my work, I knew from my success, my short success on my own, that I could do it with a bigger agency and it would be a lot easier for me and open up more doors. And I think with that opening up more doors, I had I represented 8 NBA players. And it was a great, I loved every minute of it. I was super passionate about it. I was really good at it. I worked my tail off.
Right.
And I think because I tried really, really hard to make sure that my clients were in the best position and to provide the best recommendations that I could, that I needed to have my hands in a lot of different things. And so I think translating over to ProFitX, it was because I experienced all these different types of problems, really translated over to ProFitX and gave me the confidence to say, hey, this is going to be hard. Like,
yes.
this is going to be really hard. And like, I think one thing that I've really noticed is I'm just a really determined person that, has been told no a lot in my life. And I just keep going. I just put my head down and keep working.
Absolutely. I mean, let's face it. I mean, if it was easy, everybody will be doing it, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how you break through, is that you kind of still persevere, you grow thick skin, so to speak, and you get a whole lot of no's, but it only takes that one yes.
That's it.
Yes, takes that
Just
one
one.
yes. Yes, absolutely. So have you been able to see the impact you've been making so far?
Yeah. I mean, especially during, so we finished the beta program. We finished the first beta version in March of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so I initially sent it out to all 30 NBA teams, and
Wow.
23 teams basically initially wanted access to play around. I launched a 6-week pilot program with the NBA teams just to let them play around with it, get feedback. I sent it out to various media outlets, Bobby Marks, and just got a lot of good feedback, and just really tried to make enhancements to the platform. We had teams requesting new models. So we did a combination of a lot of things, and Bobby Marks started to use the platform in his ESPN offseason focus articles right away. Wow. And so that really kind of just opened up the floodgates for us. And then a couple of months later, I called Bobby and just asked him if he wanted to join the board. And he accepted, and then we got right back to work and like enhancing the platform in preparation for free agency last year. Mm-hmm. And we also had a lot of big agencies reach out. We gave them access to the platform as well. And so in July, about a week before free agency is about to start, one of the executives from the Dallas Mavericks reaches out, and they had just brought in a new regime. So they brought in basically a brand new front office, but they had some key figures stick around from the old front office, the previous regime, and so I did a demo with one of the executives, and they were like, let's move quick. Wow. We'll get back. And then we ended up signing the Dallas Mavericks to a multi-year sports performance partnership. And Mark Cuban put out a press release that, said that the Dallas Mavericks are excited to partner with ProFitX. Their advanced technologies will give us a significant competitive advantage, and this is just the beginning. And so that was really cool. I'm from Texas. I'm a Dallas Mavericks,
Wow.
So signing my hometown team was really cool.
How did that feel?
It was awesome. It was a lot of validation for me, just that, with all the work that I put into this with my team, it was kind of like you just wanted to like let all the emotions out and
yes
just scream, I guess. But yeah, it was awesome. And then we actually did like a free agency, during free agency, everything kind of transitioned after the Mavericks. We were featured in Forbes. We did a feature story with Forbes. They called us the next frontier of sports analytics. And then we went into free agency, and we generated during the past 3 years, we generated contract analysis reports for 163 players. Wow. And the results are pretty impressive. Okay. Very, very identical to what the actual contracts that were signed for the athletes. Wow. with our 2-year fair market value projections that are powered by AI.
Oh, that is amazing.
And so that was just more validation, right? Yes. And so, it wasn't really about going out and selling this software to all 30 teams, right? I know the advantages that it brings to the agents and the teams, which is the contract projections and the supporting performance data. But that was never my goal.
Okay.
It was sign a team, validate the product, and then go and build the platform to democratize data and bring transparency to the sports ecosystem for the fans.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because they're the biggest stakeholder. And COVID showed that is true in a lot of ways, right? Because, you know, it's just what it was, in my opinion. So yeah, I've definitely seen the impact that it's had on both the financial side and then what we're about to do with this probability platform. We've done back testing on this platform with over 450,000 NBA games. Our pre-match projections are 66 to 68% accurate in predicting the winner. And our live probability model is 70% to 90% accurate as the game progresses on. Mm-hmm. So on top of that, we're supplying, you know, a lot of different individual athlete insights on the probability platform that can be used as comparative analysis. We have salary converters that, you know, the users can adjust the parameters and see what the value of the athlete is with our algorithm versus what is out there and whatever the use case is. Mm-hmm. And so that's also a really cool feature. We have AI projections for fantasy users.
Okay.
And so it's just you know, but as far as accuracy goes, I'll take those percentages every day of the week. And I just think it's something, because Vegas, you know, or whoever it is, you know, typically odds makers only supply 3 data points. And is that enough data to make a decision on you know, a financial decision? Maybe not. But why don't you have something else to use that will just enhance the decision-making process and protect your investment a little more? Right.
That's amazing. I mean, did you see yourself in this space? I mean, of course you had to see yourself in this space because you believed in yourself before this happened, but now that it's actually happening, tell me what that really, really feels like. And because, you know, we talk about imposter syndrome a lot, especially in the space where helping clients to not only know where they want to be, but understanding where they are and how to get there. There's the gap there where you see where you're trying to go and you're almost there. You can almost taste it, but you're still here. Mm-hmm. What was the feeling and how were you able to embrace who you were in the moment and knowing where you were trying to get without giving up in the process?
Yeah, well, number one, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
I know that, but I know that this technology is limitless. We can go, we're going into every sport. We're going to go into WNBA. We're going to go into women's soccer. We're going to go into all the other sports and create these 2 products for every sport and provide, you know, democratize the data. Right. And so the potential is limitless with this company. We can go into performance value in several different industries, human resources, entertainment, movies, music. It's endless. We can do, you know, there's so much that we can do with this company that, you know, all I'm focused on right now is execution and making sure that every decision that we make is a smart decision that gets the company to where it needs to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you looking for ways to grow the company? Are you looking to bring people on? Or I'm sure this is going to be, this is huge what you're doing. So what are some ways that people can get involved or be in on the ground floor, so to speak? Or
yeah. So we're currently in the middle of a closing out our seed round. I anticipate, I mean, we have a bunch of different projects, but we are currently raising investment funds. We also have some potential deals on the B2B side, so we're looking into that with some licensing deals. So I'm just kind of enjoying the ride, and I know that it's going to come, but there's also some urgency where it's like, I want to build this soccer platform, because I really think it can revolutionize the transfer system and how it is now, and what we can do with it, with all our different models, and really just break it down. You've seen professional soccer players hire these individual data scientists to build a report so that the athlete can go and negotiate his own contract. Yeah. And so I'm going to build that for you in 6 months.
Right.
And so it's really about continuing to innovate for me, continuing to be, I'm passionate about this company. It was built with love, and I'm going to continue to enhance the quality of the software and try to, disrupt.
As you are. And you did say that you are also a professor in the Bronx, an adjunct professor. Talk to me about that, and how does that help to further your mission and your impact? Yeah,
I mean, so I teach at Monroe College, and they're located in the Bronx, and I've been there since 2017, and it's just been a really, really cool experience for me. The students are, I have a lot of relationships with my students that have gone on to graduate, and I just think that, and I don't mean to sound arrogant with what I'm saying by this, and it's not my intention, but I did have high level experience in the sports management industry, and I felt like, especially with me in my college years, I didn't take it seriously. And I just thought, have fun and worry about it later. That was kind of my mentality. And then I went to grad school, and everything kind of changed. And I really, it gave, getting my education and really focusing on getting better and honing your craft really gave me confidence that I could do the things that I thought I could do.
Right.
And so, I just felt like it was, really important to share my experiences with how I've been working and what I see and how the real world is, right? It's not the PowerPoints, the textbooks, they're great, but the only thing that you need is experience. And so I really wanted to give a different lens to my students, where it's like, this is what, I can't give you that experience, but I can tell you what to be prepared for,
right,
and how to get ready to take advantage of those opportunities. And so it's not only just about teaching them about whatever class it is. I've taught pretty much every course at that school, in the business school. But it's more about, teaching them what it takes to be, and also inspiring them, right? Like, nothing's going to come easy. And I knew that when I was working as an agent,
right.
So,
right.
I remember one class where one of the students the first day was like, "Hey, professor, is your job just like Ballers?"
Right. I love that show.
I said, absolutely not. Next question.
That's
like,
hysterical.
whoa, what do you mean? And so it was really just, like, this is what it is. You're traveling 80% of the week, and you're doing data reports, and you're on the phone till 2 a.m. and you're writing emails in the morning, and you're watching game film, and like, they're like, oh yeah, maybe I'll go into broadcasting.
Oh goodness.
So, but it's really about just inspiring them, and like, trying to help them achieve whatever they want to achieve. Like, and whatever I can do to help along the way. If I don't know, if they ask me questions and I don't know, I'll utilize my network and try to find out. And like, but there's definitely, I'm really trying to teach them that, making sure that you're researching everything, and you're preparing, and that you're strategizing, and that you're, being very tactical about how you operate in business.
Right.
And so, because I just think, a lot of people are, it's always about the bottom line, and no one should ever forget that. Right.
It's very important. I mean, and like you said, it's real world, and the theory and the books and all that is great, but nothing prepares you for what's really happening out there. So I think it's amazing that that you are giving them that real world, raw, that's being transparent with them. And I see transparency as a running theme when it comes to you. So I think that is great. And you being willing to share your story and share your fears as well as the successes. I think that's really what makes you a great leader. And it really helps you lead by example, and just really give people something to just know that confidence is something that you have to just keep developing. And there's levels to it, right? Like, you get into one space, and just as you get a little comfortable, it's like, then you got to move to the next level, and it's scary all over again.
Yeah. So, I mean, even when I was building the technology, I was scared, honestly. Yeah. I was like, this better work, know?
Right.
And honestly, it surpassed my expectations of what I thought it was going to be by, leaps and bounds, and it really kind of dawned on me what I actually built, probably just a couple of months ago, because there's 2 products now that I feel are going to impact and bring competitive balance to the sports ecosystem in so many ways, and just brings value to everyone.
Right.
And so, it's a resource, and it's a tool that everyone should have.
Right. And it's something that you're making available to everyone. So I think that's amazing to be able to have this type of technology and data and information at your fingertips. I mean, it's revolutionary. Absolutely. So thank you for what you're doing I'm sure everyone is, especially when it starts to really get out there and really, it's changing so many lives essentially. Right.
And honestly, like, I really, I know I have such a huge passion for this company, but there's so many other things that I would like to do. Okay. From a philanthropy side, and just, I really value education and the environment, and like, there's just a lot of things that, I'm going to try to be involved with, and, awesome. And really try to just make the world a better place. A
better place. Yes. That's all we can do. And that's really all we can do. And again, by leading by example and leading with our hearts, you're doing that. So congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
So I see your website is ProFitX.ai, correct? So if anyone wants to know more about you, what is something that they should, as far as any other information, where else can they find you?
So we have a Twitter page, ProFitXAI, and we're also on Instagram at ProFitXAI as well.
Awesome. Awesome. And for someone who's listening who says, I like what I'm hearing, what do they do next if they want your help?
They can reach out to my email, je@ProFitX'AI.
Awesome. So you handle it personally?
I'll handle it personally.
Love it. I love it. Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Josh. We really appreciated your time. And again, we really appreciate what it is that you're doing, not only in your industry, but in the lives of the youth and the people around you, and just really trying to really help encourage others that they can follow their dreams. And despite how scared they are or what the challenges they may be facing, that you can do something new that's never been done and see it through. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So fun. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Lydia here. Thank you so much for listening to Leaders on the Rise. If you are a successful CEO, founder, C-suite executive, decision maker, successful business leader, or an influential entrepreneur who would like to be on this podcast, please visit pierrebrandinggroup.com/podcast to apply. If you got something out of this interview you would like to share on social media, just do a quick screenshot with your phone and text it to a friend or post it on the socials. If you know someone that would be a great guest, tag them on social media to let them know about the show and include the hashtag LeadersOnTheRise. I love seeing your posts and guest suggestions. We are regularly putting out new episodes and content. To make sure you don't miss any episodes, go ahead and subscribe. Your thumbs up, ratings, and reviews go a long way to help promote the show, and they mean so much to me and my team. Want to know more? Go to our website, pierrebrandinggroup.com, or follow me on LinkedIn and Instagram at Lydia Pierre_. Thanks for listening. We will see you next time.